Hello students, this is the part 3 of the chapter reproductive health. I have discussed the birth control needs and methods in my previous video. I hope you have understood the different methods. I will also provide I have also provided a chart for this topic, and you may learn from those. And moving on to our next topic for today is amniocentesis. Okay, now amniocentesis is a very important topic. Now, what is amniocentesis? The process by which amniotic fluid is collected from a pregnant woman. What is amniotic? It is not all. Pregnant woman, and by analysis of the embryo cells in it, the structure of the embryo, its chromosomal abnormalities, metabolic defects, etc., can be known as amniocentesis. Okay. Now, what is the amniotic fluid? The growing fetus is within the womb of the mother, right? And the fetus is swimming within a sac full of certain fluid. Okay, and you will get to see the picture in your book, and that sac is known as amniotic sac or amnion. Okay, where the baby is swimming within a fluid, and the fluid that is present within that sac and the baby is swimming within that fluid is known as amniotic fluid. Now, this amniotic fluid has been there since the start of the pregnancy. Okay, and by analyzing the amniotic fluid, an expert may get to know whether the baby has certain genetic defects or chromosomal abnormalities or some metabolic defects, and any such defects or everything. The analysis report may show everything, whether the baby is healthy in every prospect or unhealthy or having some disorder in any prospect. So that the study of the amniotic fluid will show such details about the growing baby. Okay, and this fluid, what is being done, the process, how is amniocentesis done? With the help of a syringe which is being inserted within the pregnant woman's body, certain amount of, a very small amount of amniotic fluid is being taken out by making a very small hole on the amniotic sac, which is so minute that it will not cause any problem to the woman, means to the pregnant woman or the baby, which is like a very micro size of the hole. Okay, and the fluid that is about 30 to 40 milliliter of this amniotic fluid is being taken out, and the experts who are experts in such processes, they analyze the this fluid under by doing certain tests, and they then get to know whether the baby is having any defects or not, or if everything is alright. Okay, so this process is done. One thing, there is one disadvantage of this process is that a person may also get to know what is the gender of the baby. Okay, so the person who is analyzing this gets to know what is the gender of the baby, along with all the necessary details about the health of the baby. But it is banned, as I told you, that it is banned in India to reveal the gender of the baby before its birth. So the practitioner or the expert cannot tell, even if that person knows what is the gender of the baby, cannot tell that to the parents. Okay, so this is one misuse of amniocentesis, that by illegal ways this information can be out, and by illegal ways the parents, who, if the child is a female one, may try to terminate the pregnancy. Okay, Now, even if there are some misuses of this process, the process is very much significant. Like we get to know whether there is any presence of any genetic disease like Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome, etc. If there is any genetic disorder or any inborn errors of metabolism like albinism, phenylketonuria, these details can be known with the help of this process. Okay. Moving on to our next topic, that is infertility. Now, fertility means whether a person is fertile enough to be able to give birth. Okay, that may be female or male. And infertility is just the opposite, that the person have certain problems, that those problems may be of various kinds, and those problems may be either in the male or in the female who are trying for a baby. Okay, and then infertility can be again two types: male infertility and female infertility. Okay, now first discussing about the causes of male infertility. First one is cryptorchidism. This is a name of a I will not say disease, is a name of a condition where the testis, generally in males the testis is outside of the male body, descended in the scrotum, but cryptorchidism is a disease where the testis is not outside the male body but is inside the male body. Okay, so that is a condition, and this is a major cause of male infertility. Okay, other causes are deficiency of gonadotropin hormone or low sperm count in semen, defective function of thyroid gland, vasectomy. That means if a person has undergone the process of vasectomy, that is cutting the vas deferens and joining it so that no testis can come out. In that process, obviously after this surgical process, the person or the male who has undergone this process becomes infertile, because after that process is already done once, the person will never be able to give or be involved in the process of giving birth. Okay, and immotile cilia, that means the cilia within the semen is immotile, means it is unable to move properly or swim properly, and if it cannot swim properly, it will not be able to reach the ovum. So how will it fertilize the ovum? So these are very few causes of male infertility. Here are about 15 causes. You may learn about 5 or 6, that will be enough. Okay, moving on to causes of female infertility. First one is deficient ovulation or also known as oligo-ovulation, means there is no ovulation at all within the female body. That means no egg is formed within the female body. Okay. Next, anovulation means no corpus luteum formation takes place. Next, early miscarriage. Next, decreased level of FSH and LH. Next, tubectomy. Okay. And failure of fertilization and implantation means the female body is not proper enough for fertilization to take place, or even if fertilization takes place, implantation will not be able to take place, or even if implantation takes place, it will not be able to continue that process of implantation, and the growing fetus will not be able to continue growing. Okay, so these are certain causes of female infertility. Okay, moving on to certain technologies which assist in the process of reproduction, and thus helping those males and females who are suffering from infertility. Okay, so there may be males and females who are suffering from infertility and are not being successful in the process of fertilization, or are not being able to give birth to a baby. So for them, there are certain technologies that will assist them in having a baby, and those technologies are known as assisted reproductive technology. Means the technologies that assist the process of reproduction, in short ART. Okay, now there are different types of these technologies. First one is IVF, or in vitro fertilization. That means the fertilization process, the union of the male gamete and the female gamete, takes place outside the body in a test tube, and after the fertilization is done, that means the zygote is formed. That zygote, or even after some more time, when embryo has been formed, that embryo is transplanted to the female body for it to grow within the female body. Only the process of fertilization is done outside the body. So this is IVF. Next one is GIFT, gift, gamete intrafallopian transfer. That means the gamete is separately transferred, not by natural methods but manually within the fallopian tube, because if a person's sperms are not motile enough, cannot reach the fallopian tube on their own, so in that case some assistance may be required, and by medical technologies this process is done. Okay, next one is zygote intrafallopian transfer, ZIFT, ZIFT. So zygote is formed after the fertilization of the male and the female gamete. In this case, again, the zygote that is being formed after fertilization is transferred to the fallopian tube. There are some more methods of these technologies, like artificial insemination, where the semen is collected from a healthy donor or even the husband, means who are trying to get the baby, and then is inserted or put within the mother's or the female's body. Okay, that is artificial insemination. Means the insemination process is not done naturally but done artificially. Next one is surrogate mother, means where a person or a female, if her womb or uterus is not sufficient enough to hold a baby for 9 long months, in that case or help is taken from another woman who will help this female to the original mother to grow the baby in her womb, and that process is known as surrogate mother. Okay, next one is embryo donation. Those who have weak embryos, they may also take donations from healthy people, those who have those who can produce healthy embryos. Okay, so these are certain technologies that our medical processes have given us, so that such infertility issues may be overcome. Okay, so with that our chapter ends, and I hope you will inform me through the comments if you have any problem. Okay, thank you.